We're in the season of plenty, but unfortunately not for everyone. So it's up to all of us to reach out to the poor, the unattached, and the most vulnerable this Christmas. Make that pledge with me as we open the pages of Jamaica magazine. Welcome to the program. I'm Arroyo Eubanks. In our package today, the Prime Minister and other CARICOM members were recently in Cuba for the 5th CARICOM Cuba Summit. Learn how things unfolded. And with our focus on caring for the vulnerable, we look at poor relief actions being undertaken by the local government ministry, as well as offer some practical ways to care for the unattached this Christmas. Let's start things off with this timely message, followed by the news.
There is no vaccine for the chikungunya virus. If you've been infected, take paracetamol such as Panadol, Cetamol, and Tylenol to reduce pain and fever. Sleep under mosquito netting and get plenty of rest. Take showers or sponge baths in room temperature water to lower fever, especially in children, and drink lots of fluids to prevent dehydration. If your symptoms worsen, go and see a doctor. Do not take aspirin as this could cause bleeding, and never use rubbing alcohol. To learn more, call 1-888-1-LOVE. That's 1-888-663-5683.
Good day, I'm Stacey Ann Smith, and this is your GIS News for Tuesday, December 16. Energy Minister Philip Paulwell is insisting that consumers must benefit from the reduction in oil prices. Amid concerns that the reduction is not being passed on to consumers at the pumps, the minister has scheduled a meeting with petroleum marketing companies this Thursday to address the issue. Minister Paulwell said he would also meet with retailers at a later date, but until then he had this directive.
I'm also instructing Petcom, because they are a retailer, they are government owned. They need to get the prices down. It cannot be that after 25% price reduction has been passed through, that we are only seeing 14 and 15%.
Minister Paulwell also encouraged consumers to be vigilant.
We are going to insist that the retailers have their prices posted on the signboards, so that you can drive around and shop around. And you now will have to exercise some power.
The Energy Minister was speaking at a function in northwestern Manchester on Monday. The Ministry of National Security is now able to fully roll out the third phase of the Citizen Security and Justice Program, CSJP, following the signing of agreements valued at $55 million. CSJP-3 is being funded by the Inter-American Development Bank, the United Kingdom's Department for International Development, and Canada's Department for Foreign Affairs, Trade and Development. Finance Minister Dr. Peter Phillips outlined the continued benefits of the crime prevention program.
To improve behaviors with respect to non-violent conflict resolution, to make young people more equipped with skills that can be used in the modern labor market, and to increase access to justice services and community-based justice services.
National Security Minister Peter Bunting added that operational activities by the security forces are not enough to eliminate crime.
There is now a deep understanding of the multiple causal factors for violent crime, and therefore the multidisciplinary and multi-sectoral approach required to successfully address it.
CSJP-3, which will run for the next 4 to 5 years, is a crime and violence prevention initiative which builds the overall safety and security of communities. 2 additional classrooms and storage area are scheduled to be constructed at Buff Bay High in Portland. The project, which will cost approximately $13 million, will increase the number of classrooms to 20 for the 800 students at the school. It's being funded by an $11 million grant from the government of Japan's Grant Assistance for Grassroots Human Security Project. The remaining $2 million will come from the Education Ministry and the Constituency Development Fund. At the recent contract signing, Education Minister Reverend Ronald Thwaites pledged to continue Jamaica's partnership with Japan.
They could have donated it any other country of the world, but they have decided that we in Jamaica deserve, are in need, and will well use the fruit of their labor. And that is a huge undertaking that they have done, and a very noble task.
Jamaica and Japan are celebrating 50 years of diplomatic relations. Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller has reiterated government's commitment to helping students who underperform at the secondary level.
Data from the Ministry of Education show that the 42,000 students set to leave the secondary system in 2015, 9,000 of these students will not leave the system with the required competencies. We cannot leave them behind.
The Prime Minister was speaking recently at a teaching strategy symposium organized by the Career Advancement Program CAP in the Ministry of Education. Experts from the Union Institute and University used the forum to share international best practices with Jamaican teachers at the secondary level. One CAP student and a teacher at Haile Selassie High also received the Dr. Michael Tredenick Scholarship worth over $3 million. CAP was implemented in 2010 to give students aged 16 to 18 another chance to achieve their career goals. The Consumer Affairs Commission is appealing to consumers to be extremely vigilant for scams and other fraudulent activities which are prevalent during the Yuletide season. The Commission's Chief Executive Officer Dulcie Allen says persons need to look out for unexpected contact via telephone, mail or email, requesting payment for products or to claim a prize. She adds that persons also need to be vigilant when using debit and credit cards to prevent identity theft.
We ask that persons ensure that your card is always in your view. Some persons have a way of taking your card and going around some corner to run it or to do things. And I am cautioning persons to leave at gas stations, especially ladies. We like to sit in the car and just flip out the card, and they go and they do and come back. I'm encouraging persons to take the time out, step out, and go and do your transactions.
Ms. Allen was speaking recently at a GIS think tank session. And that's it for GIS News Today. I'm Stacey Ann Smith. Thank you for watching.
Representatives of CARICOM member states, including Jamaica, and Cuban government officials met in Havana last week. They came together to discuss measures to strengthen multilateral relations between the nations. At that 5th CARICOM-Cuba summit, some major outcomes were reached. Find out the way forward right now.
I look forward to the discussions that we will have at the summit and hope that it will redound to the benefit of CARICOM and Cuba.
Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller's fervent expectations for the 5th CARICOM-Cuba summit held in Havana on December 8. And from all indications, there were several major outcomes from the summit, including pledges of solidarity for extending trade, continuing economic and social cooperation, and tackling climate change. It's all in a bid to ensure the progress and prosperity of the people of the region.
We will continue to stand steadfast with Cuba in the struggle to attain peace, progress, and sustainable development in our country and in our region.
And with that message, Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller and her CARICOM counterparts renewed their call on the United States to end its economic embargo against the island. The request was made through CARICOM Chairman, Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister Gaston Brown, as he addressed the summit's opening ceremony.
President Cuba and representatives of the U.S. Congress, end this senseless embargo against Cuba now. Let the Cuban people thrive.
Monday, December 8, which also marked CARICOM Cuba Day, was used to commend the selfless work of Cuba's healthcare workers in the fight against Ebola.
Cuban doctors, nurses, and technicians have not only put their lives at risk to save lives in West Africa, They have saved lives around the world by helping to contain and control the spread of Ebola. They deserve our deep respect, our great gratitude, and our enduring thanks.
And as efforts to increase trade and investment with Cuba continued, CARICOM leaders pushed for the establishment of a practical machinery to facilitate that goal. The CARICOM leaders asserted that, though small, trade with Cuba would be improved if an effective and affordable transportation network was in place.
I call in this summit meeting to place high priority on creating mechanisms to move goods, services, and passengers throughout our countries. I'm convinced that if Cuba and CARICOM countries can jointly build a transportation network, all of our economies will benefit.
Tourism was highlighted as a gateway to increase cooperation between Cuba and the region.
If Cuba and CARICOM countries can establish the air transportation links and a network of collaboration between our hotels, multi-destination tourism that offers the distinctiveness of our culturally rich countries could be a winner for all of us.
Jamaica and the rest of CARICOM also pushed for greater collaboration with Cuba in sport. As she held talks with regional leaders, Mrs. Simpson-Miller said Cuba's gift of the G.C. Foster College of Physical Education and Sport had assisted Jamaica to become a world leader in athletics. CARICOM sought to get Cuba's support by having one voice on matters of global importance. For his part, Cuba's President Raul Castro pledged his country's continued support for CARICOM. President Castro said Cuba's decision to support the region's access to special and differential treatment on the world stage was unwavering. He also offered Cuba's expertise and assistance in minimizing the effects of climate change on the island's coastlines. The CARICOM chairman agreed. Prime Minister Portia Simpson-Miller also used her visit to Cuba to strengthen the long-standing ties between Jamaica and that country.
I bring you love and fraternal greetings from the people of Jamaica, who will forever be supporters and friends of the people of Cuba. We share a common history and connection through the movement of people and families across both islands.
The Prime Minister was participating in a military ceremony for the 118th anniversary of the fall in combat of Lieutenant General Antonio Maceo and his aide Panchito Gomez Toro. Maceo and his aide were among a number of Cuban freedom fighters who sought refuge in Jamaica during the Cuban Revolution.
His memory should inspire all the people of our region to achieve great things no matter the obstacles that we encounter.
Building on those long-established connections, Mrs. Simpson-Miller called for greater dialogue and constructive engagement in the effort to secure progress and prosperity for the people of the region.
It is not on the fields of battle. It is not through war or conflict, but rather on the plains of dialogue and respectful, constructive engagement that we must forge new understandings. It is with love, friendship, and cooperation that we will advance the progress of the people of Cuba and the Caribbean.
The Prime Minister left Cuba assured that the ancestral ties will continue to be a lasting foundation on which to extend cooperation.
And this Christmas will be a very special Christmas for me.
My encouragement to parents this Christmas is have a very Merry Christmas, but make it a family Christmas.
And this Christmas will be a very special Christmas.
Improving the human condition by enabling greater social inclusion is a major strategic priority of the government. The administration has been working on that strategy through a number of programs and initiatives. Today we highlight one such program being carried out by the local government ministry in the parish of Clarendon.
This is a typical Tuesday afternoon for volunteers from the Clarendon Poor Relief Department. combing the streets of the Maypen town, ensuring that homeless persons are given a hot meal. It's just one of the services offered to the poor and destitute, not only in Clarendon, but island-wide. The duty to support the welfare of the nation's poor falls within the Board of Supervision, an agency under the Ministry of Local Government. In each parish, programs are coordinated by the parish councils and the poor relief departments.
We really supervise homeless programs across the island, working with parish councils and also NGOs who deliver services to those who are homeless. We want to ensure that these services are delivered in the acceptable standard, that persons are rehabilitated and are able to contribute to community development.
Working with state and private sector partners, administrators at the Board of Supervision try to provide relief to the homeless, residents of infirmaries and persons living in substandard conditions at personal residences.
We have outdoor persons on the outdoor, persons who we actually assist and they live in their communities. They need food, they need medical attention and housing and assistance for children. We give an allowance. Once a person is relieved, then automatically they should be assisted by the PASS program.
A country that doesn't care for the old and the less fortunate is not a country which is moving in the right direction. And a council which is not doing the same is not a council which is moving in the right direction.
The last survey of homeless persons conducted in November 2013 captured 77 of them in Clarendon, making it the parish with the third largest homeless population. So poor relief officers have seen the need to beef up their services in the area. A new poor relief office was opened in Rock River in February 2014. That's in addition to 8 other offices scattered across the parish to ensure officers stay close to the communities they serve. Persons who require assistance can visit the nearest poor relief department, get registered, and wait for a home visit to determine the nature of assistance needed. In addition to that, there's a poor relief committee that works to craft additional programs.
We meet monthly, and whatever we discuss, we notice that there's a lot of improvement at the infirmary and other places around the parish regarding the poor.
This is one initiative that resulted from those meetings, the opening of an activities center at the parish's infirmary.
Persons tend to underestimate the importance of elderly persons having things to do and contributing to their whole living, their whole livelihood. So we really appreciate and endorse this move.
We've always had residents who do bits and pieces of activity, but then I think if we have it more coordinated, and there's an activity director here, and I think it's a base for her where she can gather all our active residents. They're in one location.
Some have varying levels of ability. So maybe they can crochet, they can use the sewing machine. There's a man here that can make shoes or mats out of the banana bark. They might just want to come in and read editorial in the paper or just do a little painting. But whoever can be engaged to whatever degree, this is the center that they ought to go to. And this will be improved as time goes by.
Added to the $1.3 million spent to upgrade the physical structure of the infirmary in 2013, the center's opening represents another step in the modernization of services to the less fortunate. And the administrators are careful to not neglect the general health of the infirmary's over 138 residents. To ensure they keep in tip-top shape, a weekly schedule of consultations is rotated with a medical professional.
We've got persons with different conditions, hypertensive, diabetic, cardiac, cosmetics, and all that. So doctor couldn't have seen like X amount of person within a day. So based on that, then he has to come like once per week to ensure that over a period of time, all the residents are seen and treated.
And just next door, the parish council has identified a building which it will be developing as a homeless shelter.
Our vision in Clarendon is to have a center where those persons can be able to be examined by a medical practitioner, can be able to have a bath, a change of clothes, and even try to re-socialize with society.
Clarendon is able to do all this with the assistance of subventions from the local government and labour ministries, as well as the kind support of its partners. Similar programs exist in all parishes, so if you need assistance or know someone who does, don't hesitate to contact the Board of Supervision, 85 Halfway Tree Road, Kingston 10, telephone 754-0992-9.
As we continue our focus on helping those in need, we now share with you some ways in which other organizations are reaching persons who may be unattached this Christmas. The helping hand is also being extended to persons living in state homes or even on the streets. Perhaps you will be inspired to come on board.
This might be your Christmas experience, spending time with family and friends, uninhibited merriment combined with delectable food and drink. But there is a flip side to the Christmas reality, where uncertainty, despair, and hunger is constant. This reality is faced by some of the most vulnerable people in our society, the homeless and the indigent. There are instances too where wards of the state are overwhelmed by the lack of or limited family support. But there is a ray of hope, simply because one of the many gifts of the Christmas season is the ability to give. There are many organizations that have made philanthropy their cornerstone, among them the Salvation Army, I Fed One, and the Child Development Agency. And they are inviting you to join them in extending this gift during the Christmas season. The ringing of the bell is their calling card, and the red kettle their signpost. Travel to any supermarket or shopping area during the month of December and you will see the sharply dressed officers of the Salvation Army soliciting your assistance in the form of money, which in turn will be used to alleviate another's burden.
The Salvation Army continues to be what we call a caring organization who have we call a holistic approach to Christianity, serving both spirit, soul, and body of an individual.
During the Christmas season, their thrust to cater to the needy is driven through small community projects.
The main thing is providing food hampers for the less fortunate in our communities, and also to help with treats and so on for children in various communities.
And the monetary donations received through their Red Kettle Drive.
The funds received goes towards our Christmas effort and also to help us during the year, particularly at this time to purchase food hampers and also provide toys and other we call it health care for persons in various institutions around Jamaica.
I Fed One is an organization driven by volunteers who are committed to providing more than food. They are driven by the desire to have the overall needs of others fulfilled.
The idea is that it is more blessed to give than to receive. So whereas we know that there are persons out there who need the help, we're saying there are persons out there who also want to help. So we actually give them an opportunity to help in that way.
We identify target groups, we create projects to suit those needs, those specific needs, and we solicit support from the general public.
The flagship project organized by I Fed One is their Christmas feeding program, where volunteers take to the streets of the Kingston metropolitan area and Spanish Town on Christmas Day to share with the homeless and indigent a little bit of Christmas feast. Since 2008, the program has catered to over 4,000 individuals with over 100 participating volunteers.
Just out there, just helping someone to have a meal, it's a wonderful feeling.
Although it was Christmas Day, you know, we traditionally spend it with our families. It was just a few hours out of the morning that we sacrificed to share with others who, you know, didn't have what we had at home, and to get to appreciate what their needs are. And we learned as well, you know, more to appreciate what we have.
It's very important that we see a need, and that we not only see the need, but we act upon that need that is there. We cannot live for ourselves.
Our children are especially emotionally vulnerable at this time of the year. They have high expectations. Generally, they dwell on thoughts of eating all sorts of delicious food and, of course, getting presents. No one enjoys getting gifts as much as they do. The Child Development Agency, CDA, as the managing body for all government-operated children's homes, ensures that the children who are placed in the care of the government share in the joyous atmosphere of Christmas through an annual Christmas treat. For the children, it is a time for them to reconnect with family, as siblings are often housed in separate homes, and for them to create extended families with new friends.
Christmas is a time of giving and sharing, and children in the homes are looking forward to Christmas as well. And we try to provide that atmosphere where they can feel nurtured and loved, and create that atmosphere similar to any other home for the children that we have.
The CDA partners with a number of private and public entities to ensure that a complete Christmas package can be provided for the children.
During the season, we have a lot of corporate entities that do come in and provide some form of entertainment and treat for the children in care. But the CDA itself, the management and staff at the facilities, also plan functions and occasions for the children. We are partnering with Miss Jamaica Festival Queen 2014 to provide a shoebox with gifts to be presented to the children in select homes over the holidays.
The Salvation Army, I Fed One, and the Child Development Agency are on the front line, offering comfort to those who are not able to do so for themselves. Why not join them? You will be providing someone with a greater sense of self-worth. How can you get involved? You can donate toiletries, as simple as that. And if you want to add a touch of color, create individual care packages, complete with books, bags, tin food, and so on. Remember, practice this 9-letter word this Christmas. VOLUNTEER. Volunteer. Contact the organizations using the information on your screen and join the frontline movement. You will never know how your support can open doors in the lives that can be changed until you start giving.
For I was hungry and you gave me food. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. I was a stranger and you welcomed me. Words coming from the good book and for you to think on as we close the pages of today's magazine. This holiday and moving forward, let's all strive to be our brother's keepers. To see today's magazine and previous shows, you may visit our YouTube page at Watch JIS. And if you have feedback on our programs or queries, then send your emails to jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm or catch up with us on our various social media platforms. On behalf of the hard-working JIS production team, I'm Oroya Eubanks. Best wishes for the season.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.